Yo, what is up, guys? So, UFC 303 was the thing. I actually got home, took a little bit of a nap because I wanted to wake up at 2 to check my Wi Fi because I wanted to start pumping out some thoughts on the card, just kind of like the post show. I think a lot of people hopped on the internet because this card actually did really good despite all the swap arounds, the main event changes, and I think the main event that we got was actually better than Chandler versus McGregor in a lot of senses. So overall, 303 was a legit card. Now, there's a lot of decisions, I guess you could say, but you know what? It was worth watching. Awesome card to go down with. It was stylish, but I do want to make a few videos moving forward, obviously, the post show, but I do want to start with the obvious one on the card because I had some really good predictions on the card. I was basically right about everything, especially the Ortega versus Lopez thing, and I'll get into that in another video. But basically, long story short on that, Ortega versus Lopez, I was leaning Ortega, and I feel like Ortega would have beaten Diego Lopez just because Lopez against Ige, it could have been an off night at the office. But I felt like he didn't do as well as he could have against Dan Ige, and Dan Ige is not. Well, I guess Ige is the hardest fight that he's had so far in his career, the biggest jump up in the rankings, ranked 13. So to see that aura kind of little go down a little bit, it just kind of showed me that he does need some fine tuning. So I was pretty spot on over there. But back to the original thing I wanted to talk about on this video was Mayra Bueno Silva versus Macy Chiasson, and that card that was what screwed up my prediction rate, because had it not ended like it did, Mayra would have definitely won. I feel like the better fighter lost, and she was doing really good in the first round, and it just seemed like Macy didn't have an answer on the feet, and then just ends up taking her down and elbowing her and splitting up her brow. It looked pretty bad. And then I watched that. I was just like, there's no way they're going to allow that fight. I haven't seen a doctor stoppage like that in a while, and it just hurt to watch, because I was like, we know who was going to win that fight had it gone further. It was going to be Mayra, but Macy, via doctor stoppage. I think it's fair to say they got to run that back at some point, and have a fair rematch, because she was winning that fight until the doctor came in. That was actually something that a lot of people will pull on UFC 5 online if they're going to be sore losers. Is if they can't, I'm not saying Macy did this on purpose, but if there's nothing they can do, they'll take you down, elbow you, and then exploit that mechanic in the game. But that's the thing, is I don't think that's what Macy had in mind. I think she just switched it up and didn't expect that, and I think she was actually a class act about it. She wasn't acting like Mayra had nothing on her. She took it, and honestly, I really do think right now, first and foremost, they need to run that one back. And like I said, I wish that never happened, because then I would probably have a super accurate prediction, like almost prophetic, of the main card, and I have a little more bragging rights. But man, that was the one thing that messed up my streak going up. But yeah, they need to run that back. It's the first time I've seen that actually happen in the sport. But also, what I think they got to do is UFC 5 EA Sports. Maybe you guys can dial back just a little bit on the mechanic because of the cut dynamics. Because I think we saw that for the first time ever go down in a while, and it doesn't happen too often. It really doesn't. It's a very rare occurrence, and it's a freak accident. But yeah, I said my piece. Maybe they can make it a main event on a Fight Night in Vegas card or something like that, like an Apex card, or just make another 3-rounder on another thing. I know that women's bantamweight, besides Kayla Harris, doesn't get a whole lot of attention right now anymore. I think it's probably the stalest of the women's divisions, but maybe this is a blessing in disguise because now it's going to take some more eyes to 135. But I said what I have to say. Peace out. Let's go.